What's up? It's your boy Domuto. We're back with another video. Today we're watching who channel this shit? This SmugStick. SmugStick, my fault. What if Bardock took Goku and Vegeta to Earth? This is part 6. Yeah, part 6. And yeah. This has been a good story so far. It's been a while since I watched this story. It's been like over a week actually. So let me get into it.
Passed ever since the battles against Majin Buu, and now King Vegeta has been struggling after the fact. Inside, he feels that his generation of Saiyans has been rotting away. Babidi's magic made him remember just what made him feel alive as a young man. He now misses the old days when he fought for himself and for planet Vegeta. He doesn't regret the planet conquering of his culture, but he regrets the acts he committed under Frieza, having lived only to serve someone else. One night he approaches Bardock, asking him if he feels similar to this. He's changed a lot more drastically than the king. He's become more or less a good person. Even so, the thrill of planet conquering was still alive for him. He wondered if perhaps they could get it in a different way. There are still planets out there under Frieza's rule, even without Frieza being around.
Hey.
So, Bardock asks the king one question. What if together, only the two of them, they went out into space and liberated planets from Frieza? After all, it would be like conquering them again. They're kicking out the current rulers. They may not be able to
that's
keep
like
the
a
planets,
substitute for what y'all used to do.
It's a similar thrill. The king is hesitant. He's not a savior after all. But Bardock argues that it's just another way to kick Frieza from beyond the grave. Finally, after some deliberation, the king agrees. Thus, Bardock and King Vegeta take off into space, going to various planets. Their Super Saiyan 2 power is strong enough to liberate many, and slowly they inch towards a new strength too. They end up on planet Tech, which has been under the rule of Abo and Kato. King Vegeta remembers them from his time on the Frieza Force. They were always really annoying, and just as strong as Zarbon and Dodoria. What he didn't expect to find there was Tarble, his second-born son. He knew he was out there somewhere in space. Originally, he was a complete disappointment thanks to his low battle power, and Tarble wasn't exactly thrilled to see him. And even though Tarble wanted his father to go away, Bardock had a heart-to-heart with Tarble, telling him that his father had been changing over the past few years, and in fact, they had come here to help the people of planet Tech. Tarble couldn't believe it. They weren't nearly strong enough to defeat Abo and Kato. They were strong as Frieza now. That's when Bardock calls on King Vegeta and asks him to show off Super Saiyan. Tarble's scouter explodes, realizing that this may be their only chance at being free. Tarble still isn't thrilled about his father, but he does introduce him to his wife. The king is a little upset that he hasn't gotten any stronger, but Bardock bumps him, telling him to be nice. He's lucky that his kid is alive at all. Doesn't he remind him of someone? King Vegeta sees Kid Trunks in him, and he loves Trunks. Sure, he is different, but he's still a Saiyan, and he's still his family. As father and son finally agree on a middle ground, Abo and Kato attack. Bardock is going to take care of them, but King Vegeta tells Bardock to allow him and Tarble to do it. Tarble is nervous, but King Vegeta encourages him, telling him that he is still part of the Saiyan royal bloodline, a bloodline that has now sprouted many Super Saiyans. Even if he isn't one now, he could be one in the future. Thus, together, King Vegeta and Tarble battle Abo and Kato, defeating them together. Tarble isn't able to do much damage, but King Vegeta's Super Saiyan 2 power is enough to kick them to the curb. Even after they fuse,
I forgot they were
and helps defeat Akka.
They were giving
the
fusion some trouble
from the Frieza Force rule, as King Vegeta invites Tarble to Earth. Tarble isn't sure this is his home, and he wasn't sure if Gure, his wife, would want to join, but she hasn't seen Tarble this happy in many years, and encourages him to go on adventures. Thus, together, Tarble and Gure join in. There's a few other planets they go after, and Bardock remembers one in particular, Planet Cereal. This was a planet that was conquered by the Saiyans long ago, with the race entirely wiped out, except for one kid, whom Bardock, for some reason, he ended up saving. He was wondering if he was still there. The Frieza Force presence would surely still be there, so either way, he wants to save them. He's not gonna remember you though. Once they get to Planet Cereal, they do end up clearing out all of the Frieza Force strongholds, but this catches the attention of one particular individual, Granola. Bardock is surprised to see a Cerealian still alive, as he attacks Bardock, recognizing him as a Saiyan. The kid is good, but this is a Granola before making any wish skittish about getting stronger, so he's relatively low level. Bardock and King Vegeta tried to tell him that they're here to help, not destroy the planet, but Granola has had enough. His whole race was wiped out by Saiyans, and he was going to get his revenge right now.
Pull up.
It's their fault, they're gone. The altercation continues until Bardock bursts into Super Saiyan 2 and blasts Granola in the face. This finally takes him down to the ground, with him barely able to stand. Granola thinks that he's going to be killed as he closes his eyes, telling the Saiyans that if this is the way it has to
Granola
be,
art. It was cool. It wasn't
his race again. King
in
Vegeta
real life.
and Bardock
I'm talking
look at each
about
other as the
the
king
actual
rolls his
manga.
eyes. Bardock apologizes,
pretty good.
kneeling by Granola. This catches him by surprise, and he tries to attack again, but another person appears. Monaito. He had sensed the occurrence, wondering if Granola was in trouble. Once he appeared, he stopped the battle. Granola told him to go away, that he needs to do this by himself now. But Monaito turns around, recognizing the Saiyan with a scar on his face. Bardock likewise realizes that this Namekian looks familiar. There aren't many Namekians that he knows of on planet Cereal, so it had to be him. It had to be Monaito, who helped him during the battles against Gas. Granola is completely confused, but Monaito puts all of this at ease as he begins to explain. Bardock, a long time ago, had actually arrived at planet Cereal alongside all the Saiyans and attacked his race. Yes, this much was true, but Bardock saved Granola and tried to save his mom too. He ended up having a hard-fought battle against Gas and entrusted Monaito with Granola. Granola refused to believe this, as King Vegeta looked at Bardock up and down. Was this true? Had he been a goody two-shoes all his life? He was pathetic, but he saved it to himself. Bardock said that they were all to blame, even Bardock himself.
Shut your bitch ass up.
It was Frieza who was calling the shots, and Bardock was one of the few Saiyans who ended up standing against him. In the end, it was thanks to King Vegeta, Bardock, and the rest of their family that Frieza was dead. This caught Granola by surprise. It was them that killed Frieza? That's when he realized the form he used against him. That was what killed Frieza, wasn't it? As Monaito led them to his house, showing Granola the scouter, which finally revealed the truth. The voice coming from it was definitely Bardock, as the old Saiyan reminisced of a time when he saved that kid. But not only that, he would argue that Granola saved his life too. It was thanks to him that he decided to act against Frieza. Bardock continues to say that Granola was 100% justified in hating the Saiyans all these years, but now both of their races were gone because of Frieza. Now that he is dead, they can move on forward together. Bardock invites Granola to Earth if he wants a new home. Granola doesn't want to leave his home world behind. After all, he is the only Cerealian left on planet Cereal, but he does promise to go visit. He wants to learn more, and if Bardock and King Vegeta are so much stronger than him, then he wants to train. It was a meaningful reunion for Bardock.
That's fire.
Meanwhile, on Earth, Raditz begins his training with Vegeta once more, trying to catch up to Kakarot and the others. He often visits Capsule Corp, where he becomes acquainted with Bulma's sister, Tights. The two start to get close, as she recognizes him as a boxer. Raditz had too much money and nothing to do with it,
Tights,
so
I
Tights was
forgot.
definitely interested. Meanwhile,
real?
Gohan went on to train with his sister at the Kaioshin realm.
Did Bulma really got a sister?
Story, he doesn't break it, not yet. But he does get much stronger, and he begins implementing sword fighting into his martial arts, though the sword itself is not allowed to leave the realm unless there's a huge threat, and so more times begin to pass on by. Despite the acceptance of humanity, the Saiyans largely still choose to live in solitude. Raditz has become more active with his family and training, but remains at the lookout, as he's become good friends with Dende. Though he still continues to box every now and then, most professional scenes don't allow him in, as he seems to have an unfair advantage as he's an alien.
Right.
Now he just does exhibition matches. He has a little capsule home at the lookout, which Tide often visits. She's still not used to all this crazy stuff, and had no idea her sister was so involved with aliens. King Vegeta has moved to a house close to Vegeta's own Capsule Corp, living alongside Tarbal and Gure. Bardock and King Vegeta's dojo welcomes more students over time, and 16 is now a teacher there. Even Granola visits the dojo, though his bounty hunting business keeps him very busy in space. He's getting stronger and stronger over time, and likes to train with Goku. But Guinea doesn't know what to do with most of it, choosing to spend some of it on Bardock's dojo and letting Chi-Chi decide what to do with the rest. They live in a nice home, bigger than the one Goku has in the original story, but nothing extravagant. Out of all the students in the dojo right now, Tarbal has proven to be a rising star. He is motivated to catch up to his father and brother, to prove that he can stand alongside them as warriors. Vegeta wasn't too sure what to make of him living on Earth now, after seeing him for the first time in such a long time. but there is a fire in his eyes that was never there before. Perhaps battling alongside his father did something. But eventually, it was time for Bulma's party. And of course, Guinea is catering it, while Raditz brings a date, Tights. However, far, far away, Lord Beerus, the god of destruction, awakens to a premonition about a super
Well, they got the 5 Saiyans.
This informs him that
fucking Saiyans on Earth
are still around, and some of them even defeated Frieza. Most now live on Earth. Beerus is confused. Saiyans living on a backwater planet? Whatever happened to Frieza? It couldn't really have been them to have defeated him, right? But Whis continues, saying that not only did they achieve the Super Saiyan legend, but have gone even further beyond. Beerus makes up his mind. It's time to go to Earth and investigate. Soon enough, they appear at Capsule Corp. King Vegeta sits further away from the party, simply watching everyone as he drinks, when suddenly a voice is heard from behind.
Oh yeah, that
Lord
nigga,
Beerus,
I know that nigga Vegeta had PTSD.
King is still around, whispering to himself that Frieza really did suck at his job. King Vegeta is absolutely terrified. Beerus was one of the few people in the universe he actually feared, remembering what it was like to live under his boot for a long time. Was he worse than Frieza? He wasn't sure, but he was at least scarier. He bowed at Beerus, who told him to simply stand up. He's not gonna place his feet on him like last time. He's just looking for something called the Super Saiyan God. King Vegeta isn't sure what he's talking about, but to save face, he says he's going to ask the others, quickly going to Vegeta and Tarble and warning them. They too know about Lord Beerus. King Vegeta convinces his sons to be on their best behavior and attend to all of Beerus and Whis' needs, or else they're going to blow up the planet. He's looking for something called the Super Saiyan God. Still, none of them know what it is. Beerus looks around, a little grossed out. He liked Saiyans just fine, but they were eating food like crazy. He started to pick things here and there to make sure that he got some food before it all ran out. Bardock is also informed about Beerus, but he's not scared of him. He can't even really sense his ki. If he needs to get kicked out, then he'll do it. But King Vegeta
that's not a good idea right there.
Hey,
Hey,
slams his
Bardock.
hands down in front of Beerus. He was about to ask him why he's acting all high and mighty around his family, but King Vegeta stops it, telling them that it's time for bingo, and all 3 of the royals perform the bingo dance. Bardock laughs hysterically. Beerus doesn't really care about this Bardock guy. He seems way too confident for a low-class Saiyan. But Beerus is starting to get bored, and thinks it's rude that Guinea didn't save him any pudding. The Sun family had eaten it all after all. He starts to demand of Guinea to make more food, and Guinea doesn't really appreciate this. Bardock yells at Beerus not to talk to his wife like that. The god of destruction laughs, stepping up to Guinea, telling her that she's a really good cook. It's too bad the planet will now have to be destroyed. Goku, Raditz, and the others start to stand up. Guinea is the sweetest person in the world, and no one's going to talk to her like that. Their auras spark up as Beerus smiles. If not one of them is a Super Saiyan God, then he really will destroy Earth. He wags his finger, telling them to come at him. Bardock screams out as they all rush in. Vegeta's family facepalms. Of course it would be Bardock's family to cause this. They were too quick to battle. You should have known. No decorum. Not like the king and his family. It's clear that the god of destruction is way too powerful for all of them. Goku and Vegeta, however, have a trick up their sleeves. Beerus, hoping that this is the Super Saiyan God, lets it happen. The 2 Saiyans show off their brand new Super Saiyan 3 transformation, taking the entire world and the boat as they transform. Beerus is impressed that that is quite a power-up compared to the others, but he doubts it's what he was looking for. King Vegeta and Bardock are proud of their sons. They had grown so much. They had no idea they had even achieved that state. Clearly, they were saving it for a special occasion. Too bad it had to be spoiled here. Everyone is sure that Goku and Vegeta can defeat Beerus now, but are deeply disappointed to see that this, in fact, was not the case. Goku and Vegeta are quickly defeated, and Beerus asks if there's any god of destruction around here. That's when Gohan steps up to the plate. He's dragging something heavy, sending sparks across the floor. Beerus' eyes widen as he recognizes that sword. Gohan, who had been training at the Kaioshin realm for some time now, announces himself as the Super Saiyan God, once again showing off his cocky attitude. It made sense to him. He had been training under gods, and he was a Saiyan. Surely he was the Super Saiyan God now. One of the many techniques the Kaioshin taught him was Kai Kai, which he used to teleport to the Kaioshin realm and take the Sea Sword, even while Shin and Kibito yelled at him to come back. They were terrified about what Beerus would do now. Beerus told him to put that sword down before he regrets it, but Gohan wouldn't listen, and he continued to attack over and over. Gohan was fast. He had changed a lot over the training with the Sea Sword, and Beerus wanted him to put it down. In a desperate move, Beerus finally blocks the attack. This proves to be a mistake, however, as the sea sword split in half. Gohan gulped. Surely Shin would kill him now. Beerus hugged Whis, thinking that he was going to disappear, but he didn't. He looked back to see that in fact, breaking the sea sword freed the old Kai, and seemingly the two of them were no longer attached. Long ago, Beerus had been the one to trap the old Kai inside the sea sword, and now he was just confused about what was happening. Beerus and the old Kai reunite for the first time in a millennia, and Gohan is just left there confused. The old Kaioshin wants to go to his realm, but Beerus tells him to just wait. He has bigger things to deal with now. Meanwhile, in the Kaioshin realm, neither Kibito nor Shin can believe what they're seeing. A Kai was trapped there the whole time? Beerus says that it's a miracle that he's not dead, and that if he makes him angry, he's gonna put him right back into a different sword. But the mention of a miracle actually gives Bulma an idea, using the Dragon Balls to wish for a Super Saiyan God. The old Kai argues against this, saying that the Namekian wish orbs go against the natural order of things. But Beerus tells him to shut up, as Shenron is summoned.
We need answers.
That a ritual is needed to bring forth that god. As Beerus brings up the fact that there are way too many Saiyans here anyways. Why don't they create 2 Super Saiyan gods? Gohan chuckles. Is he sure he can take both of them? The Destroyer growls. He beat him once already. If he doesn't want to die, then he'll keep his mouth shut. Videl, just like in the original story, reveals that she is in fact pregnant, and they wonder who the Saiyans chosen should be. Though most people say Goku and Vegeta, including the King and Bardock, they don't want to get help achieving a power even further beyond. They instead suggest King Vegeta and Bardock. Bardock looks at King Vegeta, telling him that maybe this is exactly what they needed. He felt like their generation was dying off, right? Maybe this is their one last chance at a hurrah. Thus, Goku, Gohan, Goten, Gine, Videl, and Bardock,
Vegeta and Bardock cold.
Super Saiyan God Bardock, while Vegeta,
King
Raditz,
Vegeta,
Goten, and King Vegeta bring forth Super Saiyan God King Vegeta. Trunks complains that Goten got to do it twice. The Saiyans were in awe of this power. The King and Bardock felt as if they were rejuvenated. They quickly turn around to look at the God of Destruction. Immediately, the vicinity of the boat became the battle's epicenter, with energy blasts shooting off into the distance, creating massive waves that rocked the boat violently. Every powerful strike caused ripples in the water as the sheer heat of the aura began to vaporize some of it. As the battle was moved above the ocean, the Saiyans forced Beerus away from the boat, gaining an advantage. But the power of the Super Saiyan God was new to them, and they struggled to maintain this strength. Seeing this vulnerability, Beerus retaliated, landing blow after blow, but the Saiyans were determined. Remembering
don't forget Beerus used 70% of his power.
Continued to combine their forces, fighting together like never before. They were in sync, surprising Goku and Vegeta. Maybe starting that dojo together wasn't such a bad idea then. The two Saiyans launched at Beerus, their combined power forming a brilliant light that outshone the sun. They clashed in the atmosphere, causing shockwaves that descended to Earth, tearing apart mountains and oceans alike. But in an unforeseen move, Beerus forced both of them down, plunging towards Earth at tremendous speed. The three of them crashed into the surface, digging deep into the crust and continuing towards the molten core. Within the scorching core of the Earth, surrounded by molten lava, the final moments of the battle began. King Vegeta and Bardock realized their godly power was waning, and the heat of the Earth was becoming too much. As Beerus rose up above, ready to fire one last blast, King Vegeta and Bardock put their hands together, cupping them in the middle to create one Royal Rebellion Blaster. They shouted in unison, firing the blue beam, surrounded by twirling red energy. Beerus was taken aback by the force of the attack, and was actually pushed back momentarily. The entire planet trembled as the lava around them swirled. They managed to push back the attack, saving Earth from sure destruction. But as their energy faded, King Vegeta and Bardock were exhausted and overheated, falling unconscious and falling into the molten core. It looked like they were going to be consumed by the Earth itself, but surprisingly, Beerus swooped down, catching them both by their arms and shooting upwards, leaving the core and emerging back onto the boat. He placed the two Saiyans gently on the ground as he looked at them with a hint of respect in his eyes. He commented to himself, "You Saiyans have truly changed a lot." He looked at the king, protecting his family like that, leading the charge. Ironically enough, after his race was destroyed, only now was he truly a king. But the low-class Saiyan warrior too had surprised him. Maybe they were worth keeping around. As they slowly come back to consciousness, they see their family surrounding them. Gine hooks Bardock tightly, but then they realize Beerus is still there, and they get on guard immediately. Beerus just smirks, saying that he has decided to spare Earth and these dumb little Saiyans for now, but wonders if perhaps they would like to train at his planet one day. King Vegeta and Bardock look at each other in confusion. Really? But in a way, they had gotten what they wanted. They got their fighting spirit back like never before, and felt like they did back when they were young. There was no need to kill or conquer anymore. The strength the Super Saiyan God gave them, that was what true power felt like. But even so, King Vegeta spoke up, saying, no, he denied training with Beerus, at least for now. Instead, he said that the next generation of Saiyan should be the one getting that privilege. He looked over to Raditz, Goku, Vegeta, and Tarble. Tarble is unsure and really nervous about it, but Guri encourages him. She's seen him very happy training with Vegeta and the others. Maybe it's time to step it up a notch. He finally agrees. Raditz is excited to catch up to Goku and the others, while Goku and Vegeta simply fist bump. Whis smirks.
Okay.
He would have his hands full with these Saiyans, but training at their planet begins. Just a little bit after, they prove that they can really cook some good food. And thus, Tarble and Raditz begin to develop their own sort of rivalry. Yet, they treat each other with a lot more kindness when compared to Goku and Vegeta. Also, I now realize that I just called her Pan during the Battle of Gods section. But, just like Goten before, she was given a Saiyan name. After all, her family is much more connected to the Saiyan roots. Bardock had always told Gohan everything about the Saiyans and his adventures out there in space. But one name stood in his mind: Fasha, an old member of Bardock's squad. He thought, his brother's already named Tora, why not Fasha for his daughter? For the sake of ease, we'll continue calling her Pan. But soon another threat would come to Earth. Lord Frieza has been revived by Sorbet after using the Dragon Balls on Earth. His chilling presence sent ripples of fear across the universe as his spaceship appeared above Earth. However, King Vegeta and Bardock, who were both training at their dojo, instantly recognized that key, and they weren't about to stand back and watch as he destroyed their new home planet. They didn't know how he was back, but they didn't care. They had unfinished business if he had returned. They were the first to confront him, appearing in front of the spaceship as Frieza rose and fired a blast to destroy a nearby city. Bardock and the king worked together to slap the blast away and up to the sky. From down below, news reporters zoomed in as everyone in the world began to cheer for the two Saiyans. Cameras then turned to look at Frieza's cold, calculating face, broadcasting his arrival to millions of viewers. They weren't sure who this man was, but if the Saiyans were fighting him, then surely he was evil. As the world watched in trepidation, the king landed before the Emperor, telling him to turn back now or die. There was something different about the Saiyans. Not only did they seem stronger than the last time he fought them, but they seemed more willing to die for this pathetic planet. Slowly, other Z-Fighters began to appear, including Gohan, who reveals his brand new Potential Unleashed state. After Beerus left, Gohan teleported the old Kai back to the Kaioshin realm, where he complained about his back hurting because of all the sword swinging Gohan had been doing. But he had to admit, that kid had potential, so much so that he thought it would
his potential probably higher since he's been training.
He's no Super Saiyan God, but he's far above the one in canon at this time. They make quick work of the Frieza soldiers, none of them being enough to bother them. Krillin, 18, Tien, Piccolo, and the others are also stronger than their canon counterparts, all thanks to training with so many Saiyans. But the real showdown
might be a god level character right
Super
here.
Saiyan gods, King Vegeta and Bardock. The sky was ablaze with energy as
probably not god level. I'll probably say a little bit under.
Frieza, who was surprised to see the Red.
He could probably keep up in a fight.
Weaker than the Super Saiyans. In fact, were stronger than ever before. With every passing second, the Saiyan duo gained the upper hand. They were going to show Frieza that they were not inconveniences, like Frieza once thought. He was just here for revenge. He was killed once by Bardock and his family, and he was going to do the same to him. The rebels struck Frieza with swift and relentless energy blast, while King Vegeta burst around him and kicked him into said blast, forcing Frieza into the defensive as he was hit. But Frieza had a dark secret waiting. It seemed like the Saiyans had declared their victory as Frieza fell to the ground, extremely hurt. But with a smirk, he began to transform, his aura shifting into a deep gold, transforming into Golden Frieza, proclaiming himself to be the ultimate warrior. inspired by the golden hue of the Saiyans that killed him long ago. Golden Frieza was a force to be reckoned with, multiplying his speed and power, and completely overwhelming the king and the prince. They continued to try their best, but they were completely outmatched, even though they were battered and bruised. Their ki could be sensed, exactly what they were hoping for. After all, there were few people out there who could sense their god ki, including Goku and Vegeta. With the Earth's defenders on the brink of defeat, Frieza rose up to the sky and began creating a supernova, ready to destroy the entire planet. But suddenly the sound of teleportation echoed, as Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, and Tarbo appeared. They had been training at Beerus' planet, ready to show off their brand new transformation. But Frieza began to speak. They didn't seem that different from before, and he was much more interested in fighting Vegeta and Goku, prodigal Saiyans seeking revenge. But his eyes fell on Raditz and Tarbo, a cruel laughter erupting. He had seen both of them before. True, Raditz had been one of the Saiyans to defeat him long ago, but he was always the weakest, always behind his brother and his father. The lowest of the low-class Saiyans. And Tarbo, a disappointment to the royal blood. At least Prince Vegeta knew his place. Tarbo, on the other hand, had been kicked off by his own father. This didn't sit well with Goku in the slightest, as he watched Raditz and Tarbo looked down in shame. But they had been training, they had been getting stronger. He wasn't going to allow Frieza to undermine their efforts, as Goku responded by saying that everyone has potential for greatness, especially those he underestimates. Vegeta just crossed his arms and smirked, saying, "They are Saiyans after all, remember that." He didn't want to fight those weaklings, he wanted to fight Goku and Vegeta, charging towards them. But Raditz and Tarbo were determined to prove just how strong they had gotten. The atmosphere grew thick in tension as Raditz and Tarbo positioned themselves between Golden Frieza and the others. Their transformations were breathtaking, a fiery blue aura enveloping them. This was Super Saiyan God,
That nigga Tarbo just learned how to fight. He already got blue. I guess, whatever.
Saiyan. Frieza was
he
wasn't threatened. Not yet. He couldn't sense them after all. He simply commented on the weaklings having learned a new trick. But without waiting for a response, Raditz and Tarbo charged. It was clear that Tarbo wasn't nearly as developed as Raditz, and Raditz wasn't as developed as Vegeta and Goku. But they had changed a lot since they started training with Whis, and moved leagues ahead of most others. The tyrant found himself being pummeled by the two Saiyans, whom he had once dismissed as insignificant. It was evident that for all three of them, these new transformations were too much for them. Their stamina began to drain. Goku and Vegeta noticed this. They had to finish Frieza before Raditz and Tarbo lost their transformation, but they were happy seeing them like this, testing themselves. That was the reason they didn't intervene just yet. Each strike, dodge, and blast continued to drain them, but for Raditz and Tarbo in particular, their determination more than made up for it, as slowly it seems like Frieza's golden form began to crack. But as Raditz began to sparkle in and out of Super Saiyan Blue, Goku couldn't stand aside any longer, and with a battle cry, joined in with his brother. Together, they too comboed Frieza up to the sky. Between themselves, Frieza had forgotten how much painful it could be to be hit by Goku, as the sky lit up with the blue glow of the two sons of Bardock. They rocketed him up to the sky with tremendous force, before hammer fisting him back down to the ground. Seeing this opportunity, King Vegeta burst once more into Super Saiyan God and called on his children to join him, as Super Saiyan Blue Tarbo and Vegeta cupped their hands into a Gallic gun. They made a triangle together, firing their blast at Frieza was coming down. Bardock was in awe. Last time, him and his family had been the ones to defeat Frieza. Now it was the king. Truly a testament to how much he had changed. King Vegeta's red energy, imbued with the power of the gods, mixed with the blue godly hue of Tarbo and Vegeta. Frieza was consumed by the force, the golden transformation melting from his body as he perished once more. The landscape was left marked by his arrival, but the rest of the world was saved, as across each city in the planet, cheers erupted, celebrating the Saiyans once more. Beerus and Whis had finally arrived, proud to see the students passing this test. The victory was particularly sweeter for Raditz and Tarbo. They stepped from the shadows of their more powerful family members and carved their own place. But soon more ships began to appear, asking for interviews from King Vegeta and the others. What was that form? Was this all special effects? Most of them weren't comfortable with this. Only Raditz was really giving an interview, being his pompous self, and telling them that this was really just training for his next exhibition match. Gohan too liked the attention, which made Videl back at home roll her eyes, though his little daughter cheered for her father. As the interviews continue, Piccolo realizes that none of them are really comfortable with this, as he opens his eyes suddenly and all the cameras explode. The reporters are disappointed as the Saiyans simply fly away. They have to return to their training. Unknown to them, a darkness even greater than Frieza lurked beyond.
I kind of want to watch. We're gonna watch part 7 because it's short.
Be too much for Tarble. He's okay with the power
even though this was fucking long as hell.
That's about enough training for now. He also missed his wife, Gure. He didn't want to stay away from her for any much longer. Champa then shows up, challenging Beerus to a tournament, just like in the original story. Bardock thinks tournaments are dumb and refuses to participate. However, he does think of someone that could enter: Granola, the young boy he saved a long time ago and later reunited with during his travels alongside King Vegeta. When Bardock approaches Granola about this, he is a little apprehensive. A tournament for the sake of Earth? But Bardock explained to Granola that he'd get to fight strong people and train with them. The prospect of training with Bardock caught his eye in particular. Thus, the team trained for a bit, with Granola growing rapidly at the dojo King Vegeta and Bardock shared. He was still below the Saiyans, but his tenacity and willingness to catch up really shone bright. Plus, those eyes of his were uniquely accurate, and he never really missed a shot. Thus, the team heads off to the nameless planet alongside their friends. Granola got to know Goku and the others. He thought they were all a bunch of weirdos and didn't exactly like Saiyans still, but at least he knew they weren't about to kill him. Turbo was also asked to enter, but he denied this time. Universe 7 is composed of Goku, Vegeta, Raditz, Granola, and King Vegeta, while Universe 7 is Botamo, Frost, Vegeta, Kaba, and Hit. The Vegetas are surprised to see another Saiyan from a different universe, as he reveals that in his universe, the Saiyans prospered and became a force for good. This also surprised Granola, rolling his eyes. King Vegeta laments that his race was doomed due to his actions, but Prince Vegeta assures him that he has changed for the better. At the very least, he should be glad of that. In another universe, the Saiyans went on to have a better path. Kaba is curious to see more out of the Prince and the King. The first one to step up to the ring is Raditz versus Botamo. Raditz attempts to get things done quickly by using Super Saiyan, but quickly realizes that everything bounces off of Botamo.
This is definitely a wash.
To try everything, assuming that he can break him down eventually, as everyone else yells at him to use his head. If he can't be defeated like this, then how can he? For once in his life, Raditz will have to strategize. He rushed forward as Botamo tried to punch him, disappearing and reappearing behind him and wrapping his arms around his head. Botamo slammed him down, but Raditz wouldn't let go, no matter how much it hurt, until finally he knocked out Botamo by choking him out. A little more violent than what Goku would have done. The fights continued with Frost, which was much more fun for Raditz, as he actually wants to prove once more that he's stronger than anyone like Frieza. But he did want to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. After all, he is said to be a good guy. However, when Frost transforms, Granola stands up and shouts to watch out for his arm. Raditz yells back that he doesn't need any help. How wrong he was.
Got kicked the fuck out.
As Frost quickly takes him out with poison. Raditz is declared to have lost, and King Vegeta steps up to the plate. He thinks Granola must have known something the others didn't, so he makes sure to avoid all the punches and keep Frost at bay while using Super Saiyan Blue. Frost attempted to corner the Saiyan King with a flurry of punches,
that dude look kind of clean though. That light blue, I ain't gonna cap.
Strategic mind, he kept his distance. In response, King Vegeta unleashed a barrage of
Super Step Blue on Frost is crazy though. I ain't gonna lie.
Than the last, a cascade of energy keeping Frost away. One single blast thundered against him, finally letting his defenses down. King Vegeta seized the moment, powering up a massive final flash. The golden beam roared against Frost.
You didn't need all that for Frost, bro.
And taking him out of the ring.
Using
the light
blue.
faded, Frost was defeated, and King Vegeta stood
You didn't need all that for
with
blue,
not a
for
trace
Frost.
of poison. Frost was revealed to be a cheater, as Granola finally pointed out what he saw, the end of the needle shining. The angered King Vegeta kicked him in the chest. He would not allow another evildoer like Frieza to win against him. Raditz apologized to Granola, while the king thanked him for his help. Next up was King Vegeta versus Vegeta, to which King Vegeta uses elaborate insults once he realizes Vegeta is getting his feelings hurt. But they're actually so elaborate that Vegeta doesn't actually get them at first. And that was until Krillin asked what one of them meant, and Bulma replied by saying it was...
Alright. Alright.
Once Vegeta realized what it meant, he was destroyed and blasted away by a royal flash. Next up was Kaba, whom King Vegeta was most excited to fight. Once he wakes up, King Vegeta mentions to Kaba that he reminds him a lot of Tarble, his younger son. Kaba says that he'd like to meet him one day. The king is surprised to see just how much vigor Kaba has. His moves were more elegant and flowy, unlike the heaviness the Saiyans from Planet Vegeta used to have. Even so, Kaba stood no chance against Super Saiyan Blue. But King Vegeta took the chance to ask Kaba one thing. If he wants to learn how to get stronger, if he wants to learn how to be a Super Saiyan, then he must promise him to take him to planet Sadala and show him around. Kaba accepts just
so King
that,
Vegeta's just taking regular Vegeta's role.
Out by Super Saiyan Blue King Vegeta. And so the final contestant steps up to the plate, Hit. However, this goes nothing like King Vegeta thought. The king was already thinking that he'd already shown just how far ahead of everyone Saiyans were. That was until Hit simply used his time skip and quickly knocked out the king. Everyone was in shock, except for one person. Granola could see just what Hit was doing. He couldn't quite process it, but it was clear to him that something was going on with time. Granola is the next one up. They're both bounty hunters. And though Granola tries to talk about that with Hit clearly seems not interested. The two of them approach each other like cowboys. Granola snickers, not liking how cocky he is. So, he's going to belt him one. His eyes saw exactly what his trick was. Granola feinted an attack, but right as Hit used his time skip, Granola shifted his body. This surprised Hit, as he didn't have enough time to readjust himself. Once he came back, Granola struck him with several sniper shots, right to his vital points, attempting to slow him down. Skipping in time won't help.
You giving these niggas a boost, super boost of Power Ranger.
Universe 6 is surprised. He's actually struggling, despite Granola being weaker than him. But Granola knows, if Hit can strike him with one powerful blow, he is done for. It's up to the next attack to end it all. The two of them have a stare down, intensity filling the air, until Granola and Hit finally rush at each other. It's unclear just who's going to get the final strike. Everyone holds in their breath as Granola comes out of the other side, fist up in the air, blood covering it. Hit actually stumbles, wiping some blood off his cheek, but he quickly stabilizes himself as Granola falls to the ground, knocked out. Hit smirks. He was an interesting guy, no doubt a great bounty hunter.
Don't let Penis Head beat you. Come on now.
Despite his lack of power, he still stood up to him. Bardock ran to Granola and congratulated him on a job well done. Granola is disappointed he couldn't win, but Bardock says he did great, and that if Vegeta wins, it'll be because of how much Granola hurt Hit. Vegeta enters the ring and quickly takes note of the points Granola had struck. He can use this to his advantage, but he can't make it obvious. Vegeta turns into a Super Saiyan God, taunting Hit into attacking.
Yeah, I wonder why they didn't go Super Saiyan God.
Second to move quicker, striking.
I hate that the anime was fucking overusing Blue so much. Oh my god.
But it happened again and again. Hit can't cover them all at once. Granola had done too much damage. Hit wasn't an idiot, however, and quickly adapted, defending himself as much as he could. Even so, he was hurt by Granola, and Vegeta could take advantage of that. But as the battle continued, Hit's defenses seemed impenetrable. Vegeta had to do something. He was being forced to use a further evolution from Super Saiyan Blue. He had been saved
already?
For a special occasion, but no better time to show it off than now. Inspired by his royal bloodline, Vegeta used Super Saiyan Blue Evolution. The burst of energy not only distracting Hit, but also speeding up Vegeta to a point where he was able to duck under a punch thrown at him by Hit.
Did you need all that?
His power was incredible. Vegeta was truly above everybody there now, taking the surprise chance to kick Hit one final time in the ribs. The last plays Granola had
I guess he is fighting against a lot of Super Saiyan Blue
out of
now.
bounds at the same time as he punched Vegeta. The two of them expelled each other out, knocked out of the ring. It seemed to them that it was at the exact same time, so it was a draw. And with Goku being the only one left from Universe 7, he was automatically declared the winner. Bardock cheered, putting an arm around Granola and telling him that, see, it was because of him that Vegeta won. Granola was proud, though Vegeta denied that he needed his help. King Vegeta was proud. His son had surpassed him long ago. He had thought that their royal bloodline was doomed to be second in comparison to Bardock's, but it was good to see that they were still in the running. Vegeta was tired, panting, and hurt. Bardock and King Vegeta couldn't help but approach him, excited, asking about that new form. Kakarot decided that he'll take a different path as he continues to move forward. But evolving Super Saiyan Blue like that, yeah, Vegeta was a genius. Goku is very disappointed he didn't get to fight, and makes Hit promise that they would get to fight one day. Hit can see the fire within Goku's eyes, and agrees, just to see what he's made of. The people from Universe 7 sure are interested.
They definitely are.
Just like the original, they wish for a new Earth for Universe 6 when Zeno appears, astounded at the idea of a tournament. Everyone is too scared to approach him, even Goku himself, as this one is of course different from the one we know. Despite this, when Zeno gets explained to him just what a tournament is, Goku perks up, saying that they should have another. Everyone tells Goku to shut up, but he can't help it. He didn't get to fight in this one, and he is upset about it. Goku suggests an idea for a future tournament, and Zeno agrees enthusiastically. He'll organize that sometime soon. King Vegeta is flabbergasted, but Bardock is secretly kind of excited to see what kind of warriors are there.
Boy, that team might be strictly Saiyans.
Kaba promises to bring the prince and the king to planet Sadala someday. He especially wants King Vegeta to meet King Sadala and to learn that Super Saiyan. And so
you can't write out Piccolo and
Saiyans of Universe 7 get ready to travel to Universe 6.
Anyway, yeah, that how much 40 minutes, goddamn. Anyway, yeah, that's what the tournament power with the Radix, Goku, Vegeta, Bardock, other Vegeta, Gohan, Granola, Piccolo, Tarble. Who'd be the 10th guy? Tarble. Somebody else, somebody random, and then that's gonna be a team. That's going to be a team right there. Anyway, that was a good chapter, a couple of chapters right there. Shout out to SmugStick for this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and check out the last chapter right here. Check out another video right here, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.